at one of the largest attractions that San Antonio has to offer, and this year marks their 50th anniversary. We're with Mr. Weldon Price of Natural Bridge Caverns, and he's going to take us through a tour as we celebrate the discovery of the Natural Bridge Caverns. I'm Moses Rangel. We've got a great show for you today. Mr. Price, now you said that we're 180 feet underneath the cavern. Can you tell us about these rock formations?
Well, all the rock formations that you see behind us here, these are the cave formations. This is all formed by dripping or flowing water. And the caverns itself is actually going through a process to reach the point that it is today. And the process is called deposition, dissolution, deposition. First stage was actual development of the rock layers and the limestone layers that surround the caverns. This is all laid down by a shallow warm ocean that covered this area somewhere back to from 100 to 120 million years ago. So it was material that was settling to the bottom of that ocean. Now, as long as this area was covered with water, by ocean water, the formations would not form. So probably due to climatic change and surface change, the water tables, or ocean level dropped, which then allowed groundwater to start having an effect on the rock layers themselves. Now, groundwater is water that's found beneath the ground, and in the case of Natural Bridge Caverns, that water is moving. In our case, it's moving from north to south. So if there's any kind of crack or fracture or break in the limestone, water tends to gravitate and move it along that particular fracture. Okay. And here at the caverns, there is such a fracture known as a vertical joint. It's not a fault. The faulting is basically south of where we are. But the fracture would be more like a stress fracture. And as groundwater flowed along that fracture for hundreds, thousands, millions of years, it dissolved out the cavity that we're standing in here today. Now, as long as you didn't have groundwater flowing through it, or you had water flowing through it, you'd never have formations forming. So again, due to climatic and surface change, water levels drop, and then dripping or flowing water was to build a formation.
Now, what are some of these objects that we're looking at? Do they have specific names?
Well, we have dripstone and flowstone, that which is formed by dripping water, and you have the stalactites, the ones that form down or hold tight to the ceiling. Okay. The stalagmites that build up from the floor or might reach the ceiling. And then when they connect, forming columns or pillars. Then you have what they call flowstone, where water flows along the side of the wall. You get solid coatings of formation along the wall. Some look like pieces of draperies, various things like that. And then some of these things actually get names. The big column over there on the left-hand side has been nicknamed the totem pole. Almost look like markings on it. That one's about 32 feet tall, about 5 or 6 inches in diameter. So, but again, everything we see was done by water over a long period of time.
Hey guys, we're here in the Castle of the White Giants. This is a section of Natural Bridge Caverns. I just got some water. I mean, that was really cool. We're here at Natural Bridge Caverns, and Mr. Price, can you tell us about how these larger formations kind of came to be? I noticed that there's a lot of water in here.
Yeah, this is the Castle of the White Giants that you're looking at. And here are the largest formations you find in the cavern system. And size of formation is dictated by the amount of water drips or flows. The larger amount that flows down, the much broader, the much bulkier base formations you'll find. Some of the areas you see real tall, slender formations. Here, this is total opposite. Large amounts of water coming down. Over behind me, we have the big column called the Watchtower, about 50 foot tall. And we have two large stalagmites, one called the Mount of the Landlord, one called the King's Throne. These are stalagmites. They look like they're connected. They both like a few inches. And down at the end of the room, some really nice ribbon coming off the ceiling. It's called the chandelier. But again, all this is formed by the amount of water that drips and flows into the cavern system.
Right. I was telling Mr. Price earlier that everything looks really elaborate. I almost feel like I'm in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, because he was talking about the King's Throne, and there's an ice cream cone shape behind us. You guys need to come out here to the Natural Bridge Caverns. Hey guys, we're here with Brian Botter. He's the staff geologist here at Natural Bridge Caverns, and he's going to take us through another tour, which is called the Illumination Tour. Now, Brian, can you tell us what the difference is between the Discovery Tour and the Illumination Tour?
The Discovery Tour is our original cave tour. It was started in 1964. It's what got the business going. It goes through the big section of Natural Bridge Caverns. So you see the biggest underground chamber in Texas, Hall of the Mountain King. This tour that we're on now, the Illuminations Tour, we just recently started this a couple of years ago. This goes through a smaller, more delicate section of the cave known as the Hidden Passages. The difference between the two is night and day. You got big passage, huge formations on the Discovery Tour. You have smaller passages, but they're just totally decked out with really delicate and rare cave formations. Also, the lighting system that we chose to use on the Illumination Tour highlights more the interaction between light and dark within the cave environment, not as much as what the Discovery Tour does, which is pretty much just let's light everything.
Now, y'all are celebrating your 50th anniversary this year, and I know there's a special thing that you guys just started over the summer, and it's pretty unique. Can you talk to us about that lantern?
Yeah, the Lantern Tour is something that we'd always wanted to give guests the opportunity to experience what it might have been like to first discover and explore the cave. Now, our Adventure Tour guests get that opportunity, but some people don't want to get muddy. They don't want to go off trail, put on the helmets and the gloves and all that. So this is a kinder way of kind of introducing them into caving. So what we'll do on the Lantern Tour is we go through the discovery passages without any of the lights on. We give each of the guests a handheld lantern. The light level approximates the carbide lamps that the cavers were using in 1960. And we tell the story of how the cavern was actually explored and discovered. So we don't go so much into how the cave formed, the science of it. We go more into the emotion of what it would have been like to have been that first cave explorer setting foot into this whole alien environment down here.
Wow, that's really incredible. Brian, thank you so much for talking to all of our viewers about Natural Bridge Caverns, the Illumination Tour. I hope that this has been educational and been informative. If you've never been here, I highly, highly, highly recommend you come out here. It's beautiful, it's amazing. You're gonna be in awe. Bring a camera, bring some sturdy shoes, because there's a lot of places where you're gonna be walking on steps. And thank you so much, Brian, for talking to us today.
Oh, thanks for coming out here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes this edition of the Infiltrated Show. I'm so glad that you watched today's segment. Thanks to the Natural Bridge Caverns for having us out today to help them celebrate the 50th anniversary of Discover Natural Bridge Caverns. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Stay connected to all things 210. And with that concludes our show. Evan?
All right, guys. 1, 2, 3, go, go, go!
See ya! I'm your host, Moses Rangel. I hope you had a great day.